Welcome back to another Shelfy Stack and Studs video. Every single Friday, we try and get these up at 1 o'clock Eastern. Today's is going up about an hour later than I usually do. As usual, guys, if you want to head on over to the exclusive page, I do have my own page on RotoCurve's website. It's just $7 a month for all the exclusive content. We go into a deep dive on every player that we mention in this video, plus a ton of extra stuff, a lot of other guys I'm looking at. So if you want to be as informed and up to date as possible, head on over there. The link is in the description down below. You can just hit that link. It's just $7 a month to sign up. Also, make sure you're following RotoCurve on Twitter. They have access to all of their packages through their website, and all those links are usually on their Twitter page. So stay up to date with them through their Twitter. Let's get into today's video. Let's talk about the stack. Two games I'm looking at are Indianapolis at Houston and New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Two other teams I really like this week for individual stacks are the Green Bay Packers and the San Diego Chargers. New Orleans was due for a dud, and they had a really bad game last week. 10 points in Dallas. You just don't see that from an offense like New Orleans. I really like this. One, you know I like to target Tampa Bay. Two, this is the bounce back game for Drew Brees. And that Indy-Houston game, it's a division rivalry. Houston's been playing really well. Andrew Luck's gonna get his. I think there's a lot of value all over the place here. One thing you do need to note with this game though, Eric Ebron had a 10-catch game last week. He's gonna be heavily involved with the offense, but he has been carrying a questionable tag this week. He's been sick at practice, so keep notes on that. But Eric Ebron should be a big recipient of a lot of targets again this week if he's playing Houston side of the ball. You can play pretty much everyone, Watson, Hopkins, Lamar Miller. This is shaping up to be a really high scoring week. There's a bunch of different ways to go about these stacks. Choose wisely. Let's talk about our core six before we get to our stud of the week. First thing I want to talk about is the defense I'm playing this weekend. I usually don't talk about defenses in this video, but I am paying up this week. Jeff Driscoll was just 10 of 24 completing passes at home against Denver last week. My expectations for him weren't exactly high, but I was not expecting it to look that bad. Now this Bengals team needs to travel to LA to play one of the best teams in the AFC. Driscoll had 2 turnovers last week. I expect at least 2 more this week. Chargers defense gets in the end zone. Gotta have them in your lineup. Next up, we're gonna slide over to the tight end position. I like a few tight ends this week. If you can fit Zach Ertz or Travis Kelce in your lineup, go ahead and do that. If Eric Ebron's 100% ready to go this weekend, totally good play. But another guy, the cheapest of those 4 that I mentioned, you can maybe save a couple coin here. George Kittle, super involved in this San Francisco offense all season long. An offense that's been dealing with injuries everywhere all season long. George Kittle has been their staple. Almost guaranteed to score at least 11 or 12 points on a week-to-week basis, and he does have weeks where he gets into the 20s. This is gonna be one of those weeks George Kittle gets into the 20s. Get him in your lineup. 6,600 on Fanduel, 5,500 on DraftKings. Staying with the San Francisco 49ers. Matt Breida is hurt right now, and last week, Jeff Wilson Jr. had 15 carries and 9 targets. He had 61 rushing yards, 73 receiving yards. Now, he did lose a fumble, but 15 points without getting into the end zone for that price tag is very appealing. If this man gets in the end zone, he very well could score 20 points, and at that price tag, you almost have to have him, even though he's gonna be a high-owned player this weekend. If you're playing multiple lineups, you gotta at least plug him into a few of those. Jeff Wilson Jr. with really high upside at a 5,600 on Fanduel, 3,800 on DraftKings, but do note, there will be a lot of people taking him this weekend. Excuse my blooper on the screen. Chris Godwin is playing the Saints, not the Broncos. I'm a terrible editor, but Chris Godwin, 5,600 on Fanduel, 4,900 on DraftKings. We were big on Adam Humphries last week, and I do like him again this week. I actually like both him and Chris Godwin. I have both in some of my lineups. We talked about Humphries last week on the exclusive page. We're gonna talk about Chris Godwin this week. He had a 50-yard catch last week, coming in at 5,600 on Fanduel, 4,900 on DraftKings. Deshaun Jackson's out. OJ Howard's out. Mike Evans is going to get his targets, but Jameis Winston looks downfield for Godwin. He looks for Adam Humphries in the end zone. Moving along now, staying at wide receiver, Davante Adams at home against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's been giving up a lot of yards through the air this season. Davante Adams, one of the best in the business. Another team I like for a stack this weekend, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, nice little combo you can throw out there. Get Davante Adams in your lineups. And I'm going to be pairing Davante Adams with another pricey wide receiver this week. I'm spending up at the wide receiver position Michael Thomas, the New Orleans Saints offense, again, I'm looking for that bounce back game from them. There's no way this team's gonna have back-to-back dud weeks, especially against a defense like Tampa that we've been targeting all year and successfully hitting. Michael Thomas is one of those stud wide receivers that I wanna get into my lineups. Not only am I getting Michael Thomas into my lineup, we're gonna go ahead and pair him with our stud of the week, that is Drew Brees, quarterback of the New Orleans Saints in Tampa Bay this weekend. I'm playing Brees and Thomas this week. I'm telling you, I'm big on this. We've been hitting on New Orleans all season long. You know they're motivated. This is a team that really feels like they can win a Super Bowl. I will be playing multiple lineups this weekend, but the majority of them are going to be centered around Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. So that's going to do it for this week's Stacks and Studs. Again, guys, head on over to the exclusive page. Full deep dive on way more content over there. As usual, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up down below. Make sure you go follow RotoCurve on Twitter, and the link to the exclusive page is in the description box. Just $7 a month for a ton of extra content that you definitely need to check into if you want to make some money this weekend. So good luck on your games, guys. I'll catch you next week. I'm out of here. End the game. That is our first win of this run. Jumping straight into game number 2. Our next opponent has the Player of the Month, David Peralta, at the top of his lineup. He also has 2 golds, McGriff, Nelson Cruz, and the diamond, Hanley Ramirez. But this is where we really start to get rolling. Mookie Betts, his first home run of this run, and there was a few of them. He goes Oppo Bomb at Yankee Stadium, giving us an early 1-0 lead going after win number 2. Later in the inning, runner on second. Michael Brantley's going to slice one out to left. And obviously, we're going to run on that arm hit a little bit.